Hey guys, just thought I'd do a short update just because it's been a week. It's been quite a busy week, but I won't get into that. I'm just going to hop right into it. Today I'm going to be doing just a short video, just pondering reflexes. This is what I've been doing for the past week during my time that I've been able to actually work on Project SeaCAT. So yeah, this is basically the conclusions I've reached. I'm not trying to do any coding in this one. It's a break from the code. I'm basically just gonna I've got a notepad document that I'll show you where I've been trying to summon up or summarize, I guess, not summon up the I've confused myself by saying summon up. Yeah, I'm trying to summarize what I'm doing conceptually, specifically for reflexes only currently. So I do have a bunch of other ideas for going beyond just reflex actions. But this is kind of the framework that I'm building it all upon, that I will then hopefully be able to insert my other services into. But I'll hop right into it. I realise I'm already rambling a bit. Out of practice with keeping these concise, I guess, but whatever. Here we go. I've been building this little section up here. So we've got two pages here. We've got one containing the concepts of what I'm trying to do, and then we've got the other, which is the actual Windows services. This is more implementation, but each of these is basically just a separate entity that's not really relying on the others. They're going to be relying on a stored kind of common ground, which will be the database. But they're not going to interact with each other. They're going to be purely independent. You could turn one off, right? You could turn off your reflexes. Or you could turn off the memory, right? So that it wasn't remembering anything new. You could very easily... That'd be quite a good thing for like data protection. Like if you wanted to be able to turn it off so it wasn't spying on you or whatever, you'd be able to just deactivate the memory service. That's the theory anyway. So, concepts, these are the actual... These almost map to my database tables, right? They don't, but they almost do. Close enough. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through my services, and then when each of these concepts comes up, I'll go in here and kind of try and explain it a bit. But I want to try and keep this video short. I don't want to go into too much detail. So, let's see if I can do that. It'll get me back into good habits. So we start off with our cycler. I think I've shown you this. This literally just creates new cycles. What is a cycle? It is just a point in time, basically. So that's just creating new points in time and giving them a time so that they can be put in an order, basically. Then we have the memory service. This one receives memories. It goes from the API. You saw in one of my earlier videos that we have the data sender where we can send data on sensors, and that becomes memories in this memory service. So it will receive that data, it will receive that sense, and it will get all the memories, and then it will create experiences based on interests. So the way this works, I don't think I've done a video on this yet. I might have, but whatever. An interest is a bunch of actions, right? An action is data coming in on a sense. So you might be interested in 2 buttons being pressed at the same time. You might only be interested in 1 button being pressed, and that's fine. But I want an interest to be able to be multiple actions if possible. So this creates experiences based on interests. So what this is going to do is, when the memory service receives some memories from the API, it's going to look through all the memories that it has and see if it can find any interests. All the memories that it's received this cycle, rather, and see if it can find any interests. If it finds all of the actions for an interest, it's going to create an experience, right? And that's going to... An experience is just a bunch of memories with a score. right? So an interest I didn't put here, but it should have a score, right? So how interesting it is, right? So it also clears out old memories that have gone past the memory life cycle, because we don't want the database filling up with everything all the time. But that's fine. We'll keep memories around for probably, I don't know, we'll tweak it. Probably like 5 minutes at first, maybe 10. It shouldn't matter early on. We can optimize that as it becomes a problem. And so when a bunch of actions are retrieved which are an interest, it will create an experience which also has a score, and it will take all the memories in its short-term memory, all of them, and it will create an experience based off those, right? So now, with these two services running, we have something that can receive stuff from the API, and it can convert it into experiences that someone might be interested in, right? It doesn't know who's interested in them, but it knows this is an interest to look out for. Brilliant. Next up, we have our Reflex service. So this looks through all the experiences that have been created in the past cycle, and it looks for any which have, because a reflex, in my definition, is a group of interests and a plan, right? We'll worry about the plan in a minute. So the reflex looks through every experience that the memory service created last time, and it finds any reflex where all the interests are met by that experience, right? So normally you would expect there's only be one experience maybe per cycle. That might make sense, but I'd probably end up narrowing it down later, making the memory service a bit smarter, which is why I have it phrased this way, where there can be multiple experiences. Initially, there'd probably only be one. So it looks through the experiences that it has for any reflexes where all the interests are in that experience, and then it creates the plan for whichever reflex it was. Now, what is a plan? A plan is a bunch of ideas with an execution time. So they might be turn on the light in 1 second, right? What is an idea? An idea is an action with an execution time. Turn on the light in 1 second. But a plan can be multiple ideas. So it might be turn on the light in 1 second, turn it back off again in 2 seconds, right? And that would be 2 ideas. So the reflex is just going to create one of these plans and fire it off, basically, into the database. And then we've got the executioner, who's going to look through the current cycle's time, find any plans with an idea that is around that time, and then execute the ideas for that plan. There's a bit of complexity here in that you might want reflex ideas to be triggered based on interests within the reflex. So like multiple kind of branching reflexes within each other. Like reflexively do this and then reflexively do that. That might be multiple different plans, or it might be a separate interest, like being interested in when the first plan is finished or something. That's something that I'm still going over in my head, but this is the basics of how I'm trying to kind of deal with reflex actions. And then the step up from that will be when I start letting it judge. So I have another judge service and I have a jury service. Those two I'm not covering in this video, it's pure reflex. But those will be the point where instead of us creating interests for the AI and giving it plans, it will start coming up with its own interests and plans. And that's basically it, you know. It looks quite simple when you put it all down on paper, but coming up with it was pretty complex. I'm quite pleased with how simple it is, though. I think that shows it's got a certain neatness to it. Shouldn't be too hard to code. So that's what I'm working on. I'll do a video once it's up and running. Shouldn't be long, although I am quite busy this week as well, but I'm hoping I'll get more done than last week. I don't like there being like a week gap between my videos. I think that's counterproductive. Yeah, so that's it. As usual, if anyone's got any questions, just let me know. A few people have been in the various places I've been posting this, which is cool. I like the questions. Yeah. For now, peace out, I guess.